Hi everyone, Chris here. In this video I will compare the zoom of the Sony RX100 Mark VII with the zoom of the new iPhone 17 Pro Max. On paper the zoom should be roughly comparable, because both of them now reach a 200mm equivalent focal length at maximum zoom range. But instead of talking about the specs, I will be taking photos and videos at the maximum optical zoom range and compare the quality side by side. I expect that the Sony camera still should show the better results because of the larger lens and the bigger sensor, but let's see. First, let's compare RAW photos. Therefore, I configured the Sony camera to take RAW photos. The JPEG quality to extra fine and the image size to maximum level. And then I set the zoom to 200mm. On the iPhone, in camera settings, under formats, I set the photo mode to 24 megapixels and the ProRAW format to JPEG XL lossy. In the iPhone camera app, I set the quality to RAW and 48 megapixels. As focus point, I chose this little house on the beach in 550-meter distance. And then I took photos on both devices at the same time. Here you can see the complete photo taken at 200mm by each device. As you can see at the top, the Sony camera has more pixels, but also the bigger file size. Now let's crop in to better compare the quality. As you can see, by looking for example at the solar panels, there is less detail in the iPhone photo. Now let's compare videos and see if we get the same results. Therefore, let's go back to the camera settings and set record video to 4K at 25 frames per second. And under formats, let's activate Apple ProRes and set the encoding to log. Now let's switch the Sony to video mode. And then zoom in again and set the focus point on the house. Then in the iPhone camera app, let's switch to video and activate ProRes log 4K 25 frames per second. Then switch to the 8x zoom, adjust the camera and focus on the house again. Now let's start recording on both devices. Okay, let's compare the video recordings. Here are both videos in 4K side by side. Final Cut Pro already automatically applied the Apple log LUT to the iPhone footage, but this is the ungraded version. And here you can see the graded version to make it more comparable, and I also applied some sharpening in Final Cut Pro. When we zoom in, we can see again the loss of detail in the iPhone footage. Let me also show you the unsharpened version of the same footage. So this is how the unsharpened version of the iPhone footage would look like. Next, I also wanted to check the Blackmagic camera app. Therefore, I set the Sony camera again to 4K and the record setting to the highest quality. In the settings of the Blackmagic camera app, I set the codec to Apple ProRes 422 HQ, the resolution to 4K and the color space to Apple Log 2. Then I focused both of them to the house again. And then I started recording. Okay, let's compare them again. First the complete image at 4K, but this time the iPhone footage is with Apple Log 2. And now let's crop in again. As you can see, the footage of the Sony camera has more detail. Look for example at the solar panels again. Next, I also wanted to try the zoom in motion. Therefore, I went to a place where I could film surfers riding the waves. Here you can see an uncropped version of the full video where I tried to follow the surfer in motion. And this is the same video cropped in. As you can see with my examples, the Sony still has the better quality, but the iPhone is getting close. So what do you think? Which camera would you take with you when traveling? Leave it in the comments. And for more videos like this, subscribe and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.